All right, we're talking about 4, 3, 2, adding and subtracting polynomials. We just went over some vocabulary in 4, 3, 1 over polynomials. So we should be knowledgeable about the different terms: monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial, degree, leading coefficient, leading term, standard form, all of the polynomial vocabulary. When we start talking about adding and subtracting polynomials, it's going to feel very familiar to when we added and subtracted radicals. If this is a polynomial and I'm adding it to this polynomial, right? We have a polynomial that happens to be a trinomial. We're adding it to another polynomial that's only a polynomial because it has 4 terms. This is going to feel very familiar because we're just simply combining like terms. As I was thinking about this lesson, I said, you know, what are the steps to adding and subtracting polynomials? And there's only one. You have to be a little careful when you subtract, but basically the only step is combine like terms. This is a 3 and that's a 3.
No, the other one at the end.
This is a 5, I'm sorry. That's a 5. That's a 5. Okay, so we scan the problem. And we look and we say, there's a degree of 2, there's a degree of 1, there's a degree of 0, right, or a constant term. There's a degree of 3, there's a degree of 2, there's a degree of 1, and there's a degree of 0, or another constant term. So what is the highest degree out of all of those terms? 3, right? The degree, this, is the highest term. Is there any other degree of 3? No. So there's nothing to combine positive 3x cubed with. I simply do that, write it down, and scratch it out. It didn't combine with anything because it didn't have any other like terms. There weren't any other cubes in this problem. Okay, so then you step down a degree. What's the next degree to do?
2.
X squared. We have a 2x squared and we have a 4x squared. Right? It's positive in the middle, so it's easy. You just simply add them up. What's 2 plus 4? Add the coefficients. 6x squared. Scratch them out. Why am I scratching them out? That's right. To make sure that I'm organized, make sure I don't leave any terms out. Okay, now what's the next degree? X to the first power. I have a 6x and I have a negative 6x. Combine like terms. What is 6 minus 6? 0. So those x's just go away. There's nothing to write right here. Technically, if you wanted to say plus 0x, that would be fine, but I'm not recommending that. Okay, we don't have to worry about that until we divide with synthetic division. And that's next year. Okay, so they just go away. Scratch them out. Then we have our constant terms, 5 and negative 7. Combine those, and what do we get? Negative 2. So this trinomial plus this polynomial results, in this case, it happens to be a trinomial with a degree of 3, with a leading coefficient of 3. Okay, it's a trinomial. It has a constant of negative 2. Okay, questions about this? I'm reviewing you over that vocabulary as we do the exams. Any questions? All right, let's do another one. What's the only step? Combine like terms. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump to subtraction. You got to be careful with subtraction. Okay, 5x minus 4, that is a what? That has 2 terms. It's a binomial, just like a bicycle. 2 terms. Binomial minus 9x plus 11, and then I'll even throw in another one, plus 2x plus 1. Alright, so you got a bi plus a bi plus a bi. What's the only step?
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms. There is another kind of thing you need to be careful about, very careful. When you have that negative there, what word do you have to remember to do? Math word starts with a D. What has to happen to that negative? When I'm subtracting 9x plus 11, where does the negative go? It gets distributed onto the 9x and then where else?
To the 11.
To the 11. Most students that miss this problem, they do it on the 9x, but they forget to do it to the 11. Write in your notes. Must remember to distribute. Or you could say, don't forget to distribute the negative. Okay, that's the #1 reason students miss these problems, is they don't distribute the negative. Okay? Alright, so here we go. 5x, combine like terms. 5x minus 9x. If you have to write it down, write it down. Is that all the x's you have? No, what else you got? Plus 2x, that's easy, right? When I distribute a plus, they just stay the same. So I can put plus 2x. If you have to write all of those down, write them down. It's no big deal. What is 5 minus 9 plus 2? -2. So our answer, we're starting our answer right here, is -2x. That takes care of that, and that. We did 3 terms, no big deal. Okay? How about your constant terms? What is -4 minus 11, distribute your negative, and then plus 1?
-14.
How much is that going to be? That's -15 plus 1 is -14. Perfect. Exactly right. Questions? Any questions? We are adding and subtracting polynomials. Our only step is to combine like terms. But we have to be careful when we have a negative. Okay? Is this in standard form? Is this in standard form? Yes, it goes from x to the first power to x to the 0 power. It's in descending form. Should every single person in here, when they write the answer, say -2x minus 14? Yes. Okay? That way we're all given the answer in the same format. Questions? Any questions? All right. I'll give you one to try. We'll do a poly times a poly. 6x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus x minus 7 minus 5x cubed plus 6x squared minus 3x plus 4. How many times are you going to have to distribute the negative? 4 times, right? You have to be very careful to distribute the negative. Keep it, change it, flip it. You have to change it right here 4 times. Okay, try this problem now at your desk. Remember to write your answers in standard form. Scratch out what you've used. Be very methodical. What's the only step we got? Combine like terms. All right, just to review, what makes something a like term? How do we know what we can combine and what we can't combine?
Same variable and
Degree. Same base and degree. X to the 4th gets combined with x to the 4th. Y to the 3rd gets combined with y to the 3rd. Doesn't matter what the coefficient is. Right? We're looking at the base. X to the 4th. We scan the problem. How many x to the 4th do we have?
1.
Just 1. So I could go ahead and say 6x to the 4th. That was not going to change. It has no like terms. There's no other base of x to the 4th. So I can just write that down. Does that make sense? Okay. What's the next term? Cube. right? So I scan, there's no cube over here. I scan up, I got 5x cubed. So I write plus 5x cubed. Is that right?
No.
It's negative.
Yeah.
It's positive right there. So I just write positive 5x cubed. Is that right?
No.
What do you have to remember to do? That negative changes all 4 of these. So don't write positive 5x cubed. You better write minus 5x cubed. Scratch that out. All right, what else you got?
X squared.
X squared. So we scan, we got negative 5x squared. We over here, we see positive 6x squared. We got a negative in the middle. So we combine like terms, and what do we get? Negative 11x squared. Outstanding. Negative 5 minus negative 6x makes negative 11x squared. Okay? Nod your head if this is making sense. If you're getting this. Okay, good. All right, what's the next term? We got x squared. We move down the ladder. What do we got? Plain old x. So we got a positive x. We have a minus negative 3x. What happens to keep it, change it, flip it? What does that make that?
Positive.
What is x minus negative 3x?
4.
Positive 4x. Keep it, change it, flip it. That's middle school math that I'm reviewing you on. Right? 1, there's a 1 understood to be right here. Minus negative 3 turns into positive 4. Alright, the last term is called the what? Let's see who's paying attention. Starts with a C, not coefficient.
Constant.
A constant term has no variable. So in this one, there is a constant of negative 7. Over here, there's a constant of positive 4, but we're subtracting. What is negative 7 minus positive 4?
Negative 11.
Negative 11. And you're done. Raise your hand if you got that right. Okay, good. Questions? Any questions? Could I make it any harder? Is there any way I can make this harder? That's it. That's adding and subtracting. That's it. Combine like terms. Be careful with your negative. Remember to what? Math word. Distribute. All the way throughout. Now, I could put a coefficient here. Right? What would you have to do with the 3?
Multiply.
You'd have to distribute 3. I could put a coefficient here. Instead of distributing negative 1, what would you distribute?
Negative 2.
And so everything would double. But really, that's, to me, that's multiplication. That's what we're going to do on Wednesday. Okay? Questions? All right. I have a half sheet with 10 practice problems on it that I'm going to go ahead and give you and let you do. I have the key that I'll put up and show you. I have a key that I'll put up and show you